tend to think quarterbacks, but underneath, how long a guy's going to stay with a guy in coverage before he hands him off. You guys are healthy this year. Hopefully, knock on wood, you stay that way. I guess just how much more comfortable not only you with your position, but are all the linebackers with each other right now?
I'd say we're pretty comfortable. I mean, we're all friends. We all get along. There's not really any dissonance in our group, and the timing, the pass coverage, and all that stuff. That's stuff that'll come in camp. We get to work on it a little bit with our 7-on-7 this summer, but that's something I'm not really worried about at this point. I'm just worried about getting guys bigger, faster, stronger, and we know we got smart guys, we got smart linebackers, and that stuff will come.
What are you working on in particular? What things do you want to shore up heading into camp?
Well, I'd like to add some body mass at this point. I don't feel like I'm undersized or incapable of performing physically, but it's certainly one thing that is another notch in the belt, or something that could help me perform better. So that's one thing. And then I've been watching a little film, like you said. Specifically, it's pass coverage. I'd like to improve on and fits in the run game. Two things.
How much weight do you want to gain here?
I'd like to play this fall at 232. Do my playing weight for that first kickoff. So got a couple pounds to go.
What, just a couple? How many?
4.
Okay. Does that change diet then? Is Rusty changed up, or Coach Doyle, changed up your diet?
I feel
at
like
all?
I have a pretty good diet. I mean, if you're doing things right, Coach Doyle is pretty hands off on your diet. If he trusts you. So for me, it's just things like half a pound a week, or something like that, or just making sure you're eating right, and you're having enough meals, things like that.
How much have things changed for you? I mean, since true freshmen are coming in now, just in this last year for you.
Well,
just the feel,
yeah,
the comfortability, things like that.
I never really thought about that, so a lot. Things have changed a lot. This time last year I was living at home, so now I'm not. So there's all the things outside of football that nobody wants to hear about. But as far as football wise, I'm just a lot more comfortable with myself and the teams. And it's just that thing, when you're a freshman, you're not really sure if you're good enough, all those little insecurities, and then by the time this year, you survive, and you're like, what, I can play here, and I'd say I agree with those feelings. I feel pretty confident going into this season.
How are things looking at the Will spot? That one, with Hunter moving on, you got to get somebody else in there.
We got competition, and as far as I know, competition is a good thing because it's going to breed improvement. So right now, that's all I can really say. That's all I really know. Whoever ends up playing at that spot for us will have won that competition, and that's probably going to mean they're going to be a pretty good player, so not a worry.
What are the qualities that you notice right now in guys like Christian and Anthony?
I know they're hard workers, and I know they want to improve. That's admirable, and that's what we need. If we could get everybody on the same page as those guys, we'll be all right.
You mentioned being more comfortable. Does that include maybe being more vocal if needed be this season?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's part of it. Just having the confidence in yourself that you're sure about what you're saying, as opposed to maybe your first start, you're not quite sure this is what's going on, and that comes with time. Just absolutely knowing, having the confidence to know we'll live and die by the middle linebacker's call, and if I mess up, I mess up. I'm prepared to deal with those consequences, but there can't be any, for lack of a better word, fear or doubt or anything like that. So I'd say I feel more comfortable vocally as well.
You mentioned basically the pre-snap reads, again, not just quarterbacks, but you. How much time? Just take us through that. Obviously, a lot of time in the film room pre-week. You see tendencies. What goes into making a pre-snap call?
Well, you understand, teams aren't always running a different formation, so we have different calls for different formations, and I won't get too specific, but, very rarely are they going to run the same formation twice, and so that's going to have an effect on how we line up, and then out of certain formations, they like to run certain plays. Out of certain down and distances, they like to run certain plays or formations, so we have calls that are put in, that equip us or give us the ability to play defense more effectively given their tendencies. So those are all things that Coach Parker's thinking about, and then he has to relay that to Coach Wilson, and then has to get it to me, while I have to get to everybody else on the field. So that's sort of the basic premise of defense. It's not just play defense, line up, you got this guy, you got that guy. I wish it were that simple.
You guys ran some different things in the Insight Bowl, some 4 linebacker stuff, some different looks. Do you feel like you guys may do more of that this year, or was that just the case of that's the best way to match up with Missouri?
We like to stay as close to that element as we possibly can, and if we diverse from that, it's not necessarily a bad thing. So,
Thanks, James.